Going inside Memorial Sports, this is the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta. It's the first time we've had Jason Richards in for a couple weeks because he passed the torch to his cross-country and tennis coaches last week. And tennis plays in the playoffs tomorrow against Big Spring.
I think that's right. We got cross-country on Thursday.
Cross-country on Thursday, district meet, and both those four kids and the two coaches were excited to be here. So I'm sure they probably should send you a Christmas card.
Yeah, I'm proud of them.
There we go. I'm going to have you introduce your guys real quick. You've got two linebackers here, and we'll talk about why.
I got inside linebacker Dirk Soto, sophomore, and outside linebacker Jack Sparks, sophomore.
Jack looks like, are you an only football guy? You've got a little height on you.
I'm a track guy. I do a lot of jumps, so that's actually my main thing. But I'm really liking football this year. But yeah, track's a big thing for me.
This year, is this the first time you've?
No, it's always been a secondary thing to me. But this year, I'm really having fun with it. So. And
I know what else Dirks does. I've heard the urban legend about Dirks on the baseball field.
He can smash it.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So. We're going to get both those guys to Dirk, say something real quick so people hear your voice and recognize you on radio.
I'm Dirk Soto. I originally wasn't going to play football this year, but Coach did convince me into playing, and I'm very glad I chose to play because I've had more fun than I've ever had in my life playing football.
Jason Richards is a football coach, athletic director, and lead recruiter for the football program.
I know talent when I see it.
There you go. Well, I met your wife, and I'm not going to argue with you on that. I think we share that ability.
Yes, sir.
You guys have played 2 games since we talked. You went to Cisco, learned some lessons there. We'll just leave that there. And then last week came back and played West Plains for the second time, and it was a little bit tighter, became more of a defensive thing, which is why he brought a couple of defensive guys. You're now 5 games in or 6?
We're 6 games in.
6 games in.
Yep.
Been a lot of lessons learned. Let's focus on this last one, and we got 3 segments to talk about this, and we'll zip forward a little bit too. But what did you like about your guys coming back after a road trip that didn't go maybe probably as well as you wanted to?
Yeah, that was a good test for us going to Cisco. I still think we didn't play up to our full potential, no doubt. Physically, we were there. Mentally, long road trip, and I don't know. I might have got us there a little too early, and it wasn't the greatest setup. And I mean, there's 1,000 fingers you could point at me on that deal. But I was really proud of our boys. I think our defense is really coming along right now. And there was a couple of helmet stickers on the West Plains sideline for the second round matchup. So there were some guys we have not seen. And West Plains is a great program. There's no doubt. And it was a really hard-fought game. There was 2 points scored in the second half, and that was a safety by our defense. And it was a tough game, and proud of our boys to come out on top at the end.
Let's get these two guys to talk about it. This is the second time you've played West Plains.
Yes, sir.
So they'd seen you, you'd seen them, and Coach said if they're adding some guys to their roster, that means they didn't like losing to you before. Dirks, what did you like about what you guys did against them defensively?
I feel like we came out
closer. Make sure Mom and Dad can hear you.
Yes, sir. I feel like we came out more physical and more ready. First time we came out a little sloppy, but this time we really came out, made a couple stops, and that's what really got us going.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think this time we really had it together. We were communicating well. We had seen this team before, so we knew what to do and what to expect. And I think we executed a lot of times, had some good stops there.
Coach may not brag about this to you guys, but that's a program. They're not an old program. I think they've been around 3 or 4 years maybe.
I think it's year 4.
I think Eric Ward, who was just in, said that he coached against them their first varsity year when he was still at Wichita Falls, Ryder or Hershey. They're not there anymore. Those schools aren't there anymore, so they can't get mad at me. But those guys have all been in the program. They were, I guess, 4 years ago where you guys are, where they're starting to learn. So they've kind of established what they want to do with that program. So you guys beating them twice, Coach may not brag on it. I'll brag on it. That's a big deal to beat that program twice.
Yes, sir.
What is that? It's probably too early to start putting feathers in your cap because you have a long way to go, but what kind of building block is that to know you played well against a really good program twice?
I feel like it just shows us how much we really care about this, and yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think it's a great start, and it gives us motivation to go forward, and we're just even more excited to get after it in the later games.
All right, Jason, remind me who you guys have this week.
We got Prosper Richland.
I don't know why I didn't think of that, because you got a chance to see them Friday, I assume.
I did. I was at the game. A bunch of the boys, they were at the game, and I came to the game, and we watched them. And they're in the same boat with us, with some older kids. They're pretty athletic. They got some good size. I think we match up well. One thing I was going to brag on is I talked to Joe Sexton about twice a week, and I finally asked him on Saturday. I said, Joe, when did y'all finally see consistency in your first year? And he said, week 7. And we're in week 7, and I think we had our best Monday practice since we've ever been together. I think the offense knew that wasn't up to expectations. You're not going to win many games in 2025 scoring 14 points.
Right.
So we had a great offensive practice. Defense has been putting it together. We're going to have to play great. I tell the kids all the time, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games, and the Dirk Sotos and the Jack Sparks, in my opinion, are what people are going to talk about 5-10 years down the road. These are great kids. They show up. You never have to worry about them. They're coachable. And we were talking about when I was in high school, you talk about Chet Ferris and you talk about all these guys. And we don't have those guys. We got to make those guys. So we've got a great foundation of guys that are going to build this program and leave it in better hands than they found it, for sure.
Are you guys too young to know who Chad Ferris is that played at Friendship, or do you remember that name?
I think we're a bit too young.
Okay, because that's Chet's son, and everything I've said. I watched Mom play basketball, and then when I watched Chad, I was like, that's Melinda's son.
Yeah, Texas Tech took Chet over Brian Urlacher.
Well,
so he was a pretty good football player.
Yes, he was, and there was a whole string of them coming. Eric Groenhouse never suffered not having good quarterbacks.
That's what I tell him. I said, you're not really that good of a coach. You just had good players.
I would like to be there the next time you tell him that. We're coming to the end of the first segment. As he mentioned, I believe that game is at Tiger Stadium Friday. We'll talk more about that when we come back in the Panther Fan Zone after this break on 100.7 The Score.
This is the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I meant to mention this before in the first segment. Today, October 6th, is officially National Coaches Day, and I did a little research. I didn't know this thing has been around this long. It makes a lot of sense for what I do with my website, for what we do with this radio show. We couldn't do it without coaches' cooperation, assistance. There's what coaches do. I want to find something that DJ Mann posted earlier today. It talks about the things coaches do that go unseen. But this has been a thing since 1972. Richard Nixon signed a proclamation, so that's people have been paying attention. You guys should thank your coach today, as more than
Thank
usual.
You guys.
It's kind of like Father's Day and Mother's Day. Yeah, we love our mothers and fathers every day, but they deserve a little bit special day. I want to find that in between the breaks and come back to that. Memorial Panthers are 4-2, and it's a kind of a hybrid schedule of sub-varsities and varsity teams. 2 varsity teams, 3 varsity teams so far.
We played 2.
And Prosper is kind of the same, Prosper Richland. Did you guys go to the game with Coach the other night?
Yes, sir, we did.
So you guys got to see a couple of things. You got to see why Lubbock Christian is always kind of competitive in their level, because those guys are, you look at them, and Chris Softly will agree with me, that you look at them on the field and you're like, these guys are going to win a football game, and then they just find a way. They bring the best out of somebody, which I think will help you against Prosper Richland, because they're going to have a chip on their shoulder when they have to get back on that bus Friday and come back. In fact, they didn't go back until Saturday.
I know. They stayed the night.
Texted their coach to get something from him, and he's like, well, we're not back yet. So now they know about that. Yeah, Lubbock's a little bit far. It's not just an afternoon trip. You got to get out here.
Yeah,
so
we need to take advantage of that.
Yes. Now, they are brand new. They're, like you said, they're a lot like you. What did you guys see about them, watching them, that you've got to be ready for this week?
Obviously, they're going to be big. But one thing I seen is they did not give up. They were down, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, the game went back and forth.
And they didn't give up. So that kind of tells me that we need to keep the foot on the gas, not on the brake.
What about you, Jack? What did they impress you with what they did against Lubbock Christian?
Yeah, obviously we saw size, but also the mentality. I noticed towards the end, once they did get down, you could see a little bit of defeat. You could see a little bit of breaking towards the end there. And I think if we use that travel that they have to make to our advantage, that could be a really big thing for us.
So you got to get coach to get you to schedule a trip out there next year.
We don't have them next year, but I do owe him big time.
Well, and the other thing you guys have, that I think both programs have, is that they play in just a school district where Prosper's had a lot of success with other schools. You guys are coming from the friendship system where there's that level of expectation. That's to me, this is almost a wash. This is just two young, new teams that can just go out there and slug it out for 48 minutes, or if it takes longer, a little bit longer.
No doubt. And we talk all the time about, starting fast, win the first quarter, win the second quarter. If we can put it all together, I think we got a really good chance Friday night. And it's going to be hard. We talked about it today. It's going to be hard. There's going to be bad things happen, and we got to overcome that. And we've done a good job of overcoming bad things. And I think, kind of like Dirk said, we got to step on their throat early and for however long it takes.
I noticed in the stats that you had a different quarterback against West Plains last week. Injury situation or just trying something different?
No, we were just kind of mixing it up offensively. We felt like quarterback run was going to be big against West Plains, and we'll be more into we're going to have to throw the ball a little bit against these guys. They're pretty athletic, but we'll also have packages. We'll have packages for Cannon. So we're excited, man. It's a good problem to have.
That is absolutely. I've always thought that. You get to pro football, they say if you've got two quarterbacks, you don't have one, and maybe in college. I've always thought in high school, you better have two or three quarterbacks. You better have them ready. It's because one hit. In fact, Eric Ward was just talking about that when you walked in. His son's their starter now. He's a freshman. Took a pretty good pop 2 weeks ago and missed the rest of that game and came back. But you have to have somebody waiting in the wings who's confident and ready to go. And you guys get the – I don't know if it's a luxury or because of your situation, you can kind of tinker and test some different guys in that role.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of our kids. What we do offensively and defensively isn't easy. And I told you when I got the job, these smart kids, they picked it up, and we just continue to get better. And I'm looking forward to Friday night.
You guys like watching video and scouting reports yet, or is that still kind of new to you?
Oh, for sure. I love it.
What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I love it. It's super helpful. It's a great thing.
It's a little bit different than baseball, for sure, because in baseball you kind of figure out what the pitcher is going to do, and you just go up and get. Now, guys at that level, they have to have some scouting reports. That's a little bit different.
Yes, sir.
We were just talking before. This is 7 p.m. at People's Bank Stadium out in Wolfforth. Well, you guys have played there. You played there a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll be used to the big environment, but there's going to be radio, there's going to be band, you guys get the whole treatment this week. That's kind of cool. I know the coaches kind of set that up for a reason. We'll come up on the break, but think about just what that's going to be like to have a whole lot of people there to watch you on a Friday night.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back after this break on 100.7 The Score in the Panther Fan Zone.
Going inside Memorial Sports, this is the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. We have one more segment of the Panther Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. Guys, I told you to think about that a little bit. Friday night in Wolfforth at Tiger Stadium, you guys will be under the lights. There will be a band there. Now, you guys have had kind of all of this stuff a little bit at a time, but this will be closest thing to your first home varsity football game. Nerves or excitement or everything, all the above, Dirks?
I don't really get nerves before games, but I'm definitely very excited.
What about you, Jack? Are you looking forward to maybe a little bit different environment than you guys have seen so far?
Yeah, I know. I'm super excited for it. I think we could use that to our advantage, definitely. Because
you guys have, we talked before, Dirks, when you go in when you went to Cisco, when you went to Littlefield, there's a lot of people rooting against you. You got to get used to that. That's high school football. Now, I know most of the people in Littlefield were rooting against Coach, right?
Yes,
because of his history there.
Yes.
Now Cisco's different. Cisco, they have no love for anybody out here. They don't know anybody out here. What was that like to play in a small town home game on a Friday?
For sure. I honestly loved it. I love the energy. I love the band playing. It just gets me hype. And you can ask Coach. I'm always yelling and everything. So it just brings me hyper.
How good is you guys' band? Assess
really
your
good.
band right now.
Really good.
That's going to be important.
Yeah, we got a really good band, and our fans and our students, our community has really shown up at every all of our games. I mean, we've had a packed stand everywhere we played, and this is a homecoming Friday night, so expect a big crowd. I looked it up. People's Bank holds about 10,000. It'd be cool to get at least half of that.
We've got some Friendship folks that'll be on the road because the Tigers are down in Midland, so you may have enough people there. I don't know if you ever cross paths with Greg Sherwood, the former Plainview, coached a lot of places, most famously at Plainview, and then was the athletic director here. I know your coach and him were contemporaries.
Right.
When he got to Plainview, one of the first things he did, their band was okay, but he went, and I think Joe Sexton followed the same thing at Liberty. He went and introduced himself to the band director and said, I want you guys to be better than we are on the field. I want people to talk about the band as much as they do about the football program. That's high school sports. That's exactly what
they do a really good job of, if they're not playing, they're hyped. So it's been good. If we go into overtime, I'm going to put we're definitely going to try to go to the north end zone first.
I'm trying to think. Okay.
That's where our band is. It's pretty loud down there.
There's been a couple of games, a couple of Friendship Lubbock Cooper, Friendship back in the day, Friendship Hereford, Friendship Plainview games where there were so many people there. The poor band got stuck on the other side of the end zone in chairs. And not that there's not athletic band kids. I'm sure there are. But if I'm a parent, I'm terrified that one of these guys is going to come hurling into them. So maybe someday you guys will have that to look forward to, where you could have to be careful of the band sitting on the grass. Now that you've seen the teams you've seen, and you've seen what Prosper Richland can bring, what's a good night for you guys, Jason? Friday night, what's a good night for you guys?
I think to play to our full potential for 4 quarters or whatever it takes. I really think we can beat these guys. We're going to have to score some points. I think they're going to get theirs, just because it's essentially 5A Texas football right now. And I just want to see our kids fight consistently and be tough. And, we want to kind of start every time I've coached in West Texas, it's kind of West Texas versus the Metroplex. Yep. And, what we're known for out in West Texas is being tough. And, I would think that every time we play somebody from the Metroplex, they're going to be bigger, stronger, and faster than us, but we got to be tougher than them.
I think these two guys between us right here have a lot to do with that. How important is that toughness element to you two guys, especially being linebackers?
Definitely plays a big role in the game. I feel like it starts with not only the inside linebackers, but the outside linebackers, because I feel we bring the most juice. So that's how I feel about that.
Jack, do you have a little bit of that juice to bring?
Yeah, I think the toughness is super important. Obviously a linebacker, you're going to get beat up, but you got to get up and get ready for the next play, and you got to bring the energy.
Former Estacado coach Joe Cluley, I don't know if this was his quote or where it came up from, but at a coach's luncheon once, he said, if you're juiceless, you're useless. And, man, he had teams that did that. Jason, you have some juice with your guys?
Oh, yeah, and they're learning, but I'm telling you, I was real fired up. I told the coaches this morning, we practiced in the morning, I said, I think I'm just going to take the rest of the day off and just end it on a good day.
There you go.
They had a great practice this morning.
Well, and they get at it Friday night, 7 p.m. at Tiger Stadium. I'll get the radio information for you later this week. We'll be back after this break in the Patriot Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.